So this Turkish exchange student said that students in Turkey, they study harder than students in Japan. Yeah, so students in Turkey are more diligent than students in Japan. And then the second one, the American person said to me that in America, like students study very hard, and then after they graduate, they have a more relaxing life in their jobs.
You guys can also ask to each other. I mean, if there are questions from the explanation or everything, I mean, it's great. It's like I'm not I'm not like a strict host in here. We do it.
Got it.
Okay. Actually, now I want to like, maybe this topic is kind of important or maybe interesting for Indonesian student or other. Like, I think they are wondering about how is studying in Japan, how is studying in Turkey, like in the perspective or in the perspective of me and Alfian as a foreigner who studied in those countries, and also for both of you, Kotaro and Osman, as those who are natives and studying there. What first? Okay, let's start with both of you, Alfian and Kotaro. What do you think about studying in Japan? Is it fun? Is it hard? Is it, what do you think about it in your guys' opinion?
Okay, maybe I can start with a very brief explanation. So I heard two interesting perspectives, one from a Turkish exchange student and one from an American person in Japan. So this Turkish exchange student said that students in Turkey, they study harder than students in Japan. Yeah, so students in Turkey are more diligent than students in Japan. And then the second one, the American person said to me that in America, like students study very hard, and then after they graduate, they have a more relaxing life in their jobs. But in Japan, it's the opposite. Students, they don't study that much because they tend to prioritize their extracurricular activities, and they also have much time for having fun. But after they graduate, like their work environment is really demanding, so they are very busy with their work environment. So what do you think about this, Kotaro?
I think that's pretty accurate, to be honest. Definitely depends on like the tier of the university you're going to. But I think it is definitely true that Japan, it's like Japanese students definitely place a big focus or like a big weight on so for Japan. So they usually just like in Japan it's said that like it's the hardest to get into university first, and then after that it's like an easy breeze, right?
Yes.
But in the US it's like it's hard to get into university and it's also hard to graduate. But in Japan it's like the opposite, right? So like unless you're like a STEM student, it's not gonna be as demanding, I feel. Yeah, it depends on like what kind of professors or classes you take, so it really depends.
So I can say that even like let's say getting to the best universities in Japan is very, very hard. But once you enter the university, like it is like the university life is not that hard. It's not it's not like full of assignments, like it's not that stressful. You can still enjoy your life. Can we say it like that?
As long as you don't like slack off the whole like all the classes, I think you will most likely, if you study hard enough, you'll like most likely pass. There's like hardly any people who drop out. So
really,
yeah,
and the undergraduate is 4 years as well. Undergraduate, yeah.
Yeah, same as in Turkey, right? 4 years.
Yeah, same.
4 years.
And most students can graduate in 4 years. I can say like that. Yeah. Like because in here in Turkey. By the way, guys, before I continue with me and Osman, I think we are running out of time for the Zoom, so I will make a new link.
Okay. We
and
still have
we'll
admin.
continue. Yeah,
I think we still have
I get-
admin.
is that what I mean? Okay, if you okay,
Yep.
anyway. Okay.
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 No worries.
Osman, what do you think about studying in Turkey? Do you think it's very stressful?
Yes, of course. I was always compared with study in Turkey and in the Western countries like Europe and with Canada, because the most of the students prefer to study in Canada, as you know, maybe. Yes, and my friends in Canada and in Europe, they say studying is so easy here. It's easier than Turkey. I can say that. Yeah, the make it hard doesn't mean to make it quality. I don't know why, but
I agree with you.
in the maths, we have a lot of maths units in the high school time, and I just learned they studying that subject in the university, but we are getting so much math units, and also the make it hard doesn't make it quality. But the education quality is not good here, and everyone want to study engineering or medical, but there are many unemployments. For example, my major is actually history. I would like to study history, but if you study history here, you are potential unemployment. You cannot find job. It's kind of 99%. It's really hard. Maybe as a lecturer, you can find it's a little bit, I don't know. But yeah, the general of this education is harder than, and I thought the Japan also hard to study there, and there is image in the Turkish people mind. They think the Japan, the far eastern countries, they are working so much to math, always math. They are getting crazy because they're studying so much. But I just learned that studying in Japan is easier than Turkey. I appreciate that. That's all.
Yes, Osman, I agree with you because that was my initial impression as well. Like that was my initial thought as well about this. Like I thought, okay, I mean, Japanese people, as far as I know, they are famous for their hardworking, hardworking ethics. And I'm thinking that okay, then in the university, I think they must be also like very very hard, like study all the time, study all the time. Like in Turkey, because we are working hard in here. Like if I think, like in my opinion, like I actually studied in two different universities in Turkey. Like one of them was in a smaller city, and the other one is in Ankara that I'm studying right now. And I can see the different in the qualities, like the gaps are there, but at the same time, both are very demanding. Like the only difference it makes are in the higher quality universities, in my opinion, the exams are much harder and also the rules are stricter. Yani, if you want to get a good grade in a very good university in Turkey, it is very, very hard. Like sometimes in an exam, you can imagine in an exam, we can have an average of 20 out of 100, like the average of the class. And the only thing, like you need 60 points in order to pass the course. So imagine, like there are some situations where more student fails than the one who pass. Like this kind of situation happens in the in a high quality universities in Turkey, let's say. But in other universities, like the exams are, a little bit easier, like a little bit easier. The average are okay, so everyone can pass the course, and they create, a situation, let's say, and it is kind of hard, I think. While at the same time, this is from my own opinion. Maybe other universities in Turkey are not like this, but I think, like I'm studying engineering, but I think we press a lot on the theoretical side of the engineering. Like we learn a lot of theories. Like we did experiment, we did laboratory stuff, but I think it's not that much compared to how it should be, in my opinion. Like we are focusing more on the theory, Well, at the same time, it is a good thing. I mean, we can understand the theory much better, but at the same time, I think if we want to become an engineer, we need more laboratory things. You know, we need more experiments. We need more real world things. But yeah, I think that's the whole situation, in my opinion. Yeah. So it's about life. But by the way, so do you enjoy the system? By the way, Alfian and Kotaro, do you enjoy the system of studying in Japan? How was it, yeah? Did you enjoy it, like this system? Or do you want it, it should be like this, it should be like this? What do you think about it? I think it should be more.
For me as an Indonesian, I was kind of surprised that it turned out that studying in Japan is much more relaxed than studying in universities. So actually, I kind of like my student life during those 4 years because I was not very busy. I had a lot of time for doing other things, joining clubs and meeting friends, and also managing my YouTube channel. So yeah, those 4 years were kind of like happy years for me.
Oh. Do you
How
agree?
about by the way, he's still a student.
Yeah. I'm graduating next year.
How is it, yeah? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's fun. Yeah, it's great. But I think I just don't really like the Japan has most universities, they do these like big exams, like finals. They place like very big importance on that. And I'm personally more into like just hand in like assignments to get grades, because that's like more, I feel like for me, that gives like a better understanding of the subject instead of just like cramming for one big final at the end of the year. So I would say like I'm okay with it, but I would prefer the latter. Yes.
Like the assignments kind of stuff, yeah?
Yeah, assignments.
Project based.
Yeah, like weekly exams. Yeah.
So no exam, you think? Like only assignments, no exams. You think so?
No, I mean exams are good, but just like not one big one.
Yeah,
Because that decides your whole grade, right?
Yes. Yeah. I agree with that.
Okay, guys. So we basically now have an idea about how is the education is done in both Turkey and also in Japan. And now, actually, I also wonder about our opinion. Like, for example, my opinion about Japan and whether it is true or not. Like what I think this whole time is true or not. And also Osman can give his opinion about Japan, while Kotaro and Alfian can give their opinion about Turkey, what they know so far, what they think about it. And maybe as a bonus, Kotaro and Osman can also say their opinion about Indonesia to us. So let's start from Osman. Bro, what do you think about Japan? Like what comes to your mind when you think about Japan?
Japan is, I can say, Japan is as kind of heaven of technology, the automotive especially. I don't know, everything is so over there, and I can say, and especially I'm really wondering about the mafia there.
You can ask question by the way.
Yakuza, yeah.
You can ask question by the way.
I would like to get information about Yakuza, and because I just know about the documentaries about Yakuza. Also, everything is so good in Japan. Everything like the economical situation, the social life, maybe the nightlife, as soon as possible. But at the same time, the prices are really expensive. Yeah. Also, snacks. Also, I'm interested in snacks in Japan. There are many kind of snacks. There are many kind of flavor, taste. It's kind of heaven for me. I I would like to visit someday, hopefully. Also, mostly I'm interested in automotive sector in Japan, especially. I'm really a fan of Lexus and Toyota cars, also Subaru, and I'm also the big fan of GTR R34, 35. Yeah,
Bro,
the typical
Osman,
Turkish always mention about that.
bro, you make me remember about the story that you told me about Toyota. Like the Tamirji, I forget the English version, Tamirji. So the
Repairs,
guy
mechanic,
who repair cars, like in Turkey,
mechanic.
mechanic, they hate Toyota. Why? Because it is rarely broken. So no one comes.
Makes them go out of business.
Like
Mostly they like German cars like Volkswagen, BMW, especially Mercedes.
Very sensitive.
German cars often come to the mechanics, but Toyota rarely come, and they hate Toyota. That's why.
Oh, interesting.
They have this mindset, yeah. From
Yeah.
Osman, I know it from Osman. I don't have car, so I don't know. Is there anything else, bro? Osman?
Also, if you guys can you guys give me information about Yakuza? I would like to listen if you know about Yakuza detail.
Okay,
We
so
don't have to publish everything, by the way. I mean, if you want to say something secret, I will not post that part. So just for the sake of Osman's.
no worries. Yeah. So those are very interesting questions. So first of all, about technology, also including the automotive industry. And the second one, if I remember correctly, about the Yakuza. Third one about Japanese, what is it? Snacks.
Economy, snacks and
Snacks, yeah.
The fourth one is about economics. Yeah, so maybe Kotaro can share.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Well, Yakuza mainly. Japan's government has started cracking down ever since the 2000s. So the Yakuza is not as like big as they used to be in like the 60s or the 70s. They're like very low key. Right now, they control most of what they do now is like they mostly control the prostitution hubs. Prostitution. They never really touch drugs. That's like mostly the foreign gangs or crime organizations. But like, so yeah, basically, they just dabble in prostitution and money laundering, loan sharking, and that's about it. Yeah, so it's like not as big as one. Yeah,
I see. Yeah. But that's about Yakuza. And now about the economic situation. I would say that Japan's economic situation is not as beautiful as many people in the world say, because there are many challenges that Japan faces regarding to economics. So for example, right now we have what we call Enyasu, which is the devaluation of yen. It is beneficial for tourists who come to Japan, but for Japanese people who want to go abroad, or for foreign workers who are working in Japan, for me, it's kind of a tough situation. Yes. So,
what
but
does it mean actually, bro? What does this thing do? What does this rule do actually? Like,
so the value of Japanese yen is decreasing. If compared to Indonesian rupiah.
Okay.
So yeah, if I bring my salary back to Indonesia, it won't be as much as it used to be. Yeah. But I can say that Japanese people are always been persistent, and like economics challenges like happen everywhere, bro. It's not only in Japan. And Japanese people have been always been persistent. Like they keep how to say it, gambadu, and then so gamasuru. And yeah, I believe that no matter what kind of economic situations that will come to Japan, like Japanese people will always find a way to overcome it. So that's from me. Maybe you have something to add?
I mean, yeah, economic situations Well, I mean, there's like always times like this in a
Mm,
crisis, like, after COVID. I'm sure it's going to improve soon, but there is like a bunch of problems like the aging population and all that. So there is like an issue about like immigrants. How are we going to deal with that? And how are we going to deal with like the fact that there's apparently right now there's only about one young adult to support like one old person, right?
Yeah.
In reality, you need about like 2 or 3 people to support that.
Yes.
So it's like a huge problem. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
Can you repeat the last sentence? I couldn't get it. The last sentence about 2, 3 people.
So in Japan, because of the aging population and people are having less kids, so in the future, there's only going to be one young person to support like one elderly.
Okay.
As in reality, you need about 2 people to keep the economy or society going, right? Yeah.
I can send you a graph that will help you understand that. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, if you this graph, you will understand it easily. And then next about automotive. Are you familiar with automotive industry?
I mean, Nagoya is like a pretty.
Oh yeah, Nagoya.
Nagoya is huge. If you're into Toyota, like
Yes,
you should go to Aichi.
Mm.
I think that's where it is. Yeah, Aichi Prefecture is like big with cars. Yeah.
And then I live in Nagoya right now, and Nagoya is the hub for Toyota, and also its subsidiary Lexus. And actually, the previous president of Toyota is actually my senior in Keio University. He graduated from the acute Toyota. And then in general, I would say that Japanese automakers really put importance on quality control. So probably that's why mechanics in Turkey hate Japanese brands. Because they, as much as possible, they really make the spare parts and all the parts of the automobiles in a good quality.
Simple and efficient.
Yeah, super efficient. Yes.
Yeah, super efficient. And my family is also using Toyota for a long time. We are a long time Toyota users. Yeah.
Indonesian people, most of them use Toyota. Yeah. Also other brands from Japan like Suzuki and
Honda also, right?
Yes,
Honda.
what else? Not only cars but also the motorcycles. The Japanese brands are the dominant ones in Indonesia, like Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki.
Yeah.
Kawasaki as well.
Kawasaki.
Yeah. Okay. And the last one about Japanese snacks. Oh, I really take one. Yeah, Japanese.
I don't know much about Japanese snacks. No?
Japanese snacks. I think the ones that is popular around the world is the modern Japanese snacks, like the Japanese brands of snacks that you can find in supermarkets around the world. But I would like to also talk about the traditional Japanese snacks that maybe are still not still unfamiliar to you guys. Maybe like kamaboko or dorayaki.
From Doraemon. Like
Yes.
Dorayaki is famous because of Doraemon, I think. I don't know.
Doraemon, yeah. Actually, there are lots of Japanese snacks, and maybe it's kind of difficult if I just explain it using words without
Images. Yeah.
I will put the picture. I will put the picture.
So I will send
Remind
you
me of
some
that.
pictures. Yes.
Okay. I will put the
pictures.
picture in the video.
Okay.
There's like 2 sides to that. There's like the traditional Japanese sweets,
Yes.
like mochi and all that. Then there's like Japanese snacks, like I don't know, like
modern snacks,
jaganiko or like.
I'm not sure if
onechi.
we are supposed if we can mention specific brands.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're not.
You can. Yeah, it's not promoted, but you can.
But I think for the traditional Japanese snacks, most of them are unbranded, so we can just safely mention the types of the snacks like dango, then mochi, dorayaki, and so on.
And what do you want to say something?
Especially the flavors are so different, and it's actually so weird for me because even I saw Pepsi with yogurt, something like, for example, cola with biscuit, something like weird flavors. And It's actually make people so curious about that to taste, but
Yeah.
it's in Japan only. It's local.
A lot
And
of companies,
recently, yeah,
yeah, a lot of companies do this like weird thing to they make like the weirdest flavors just like, you know, to attract attention, right? So like I once saw this like cup noodle that was being sold and it was cake flavor, like shortcake flavor.
Ah, yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
so bad. It tasted so bad, but it was like so famous because it was so bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you guys know wasabi? When you
yeah,
get
yeah. I
Wasabi?
heard about
Yeah.
wasabi. Wasabi, huh?
Have you heard of ice cream with wasabi flavor?
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Yeah, it's pretty weird,
Yeah.
but I tried it and it's quite good actually.
It
And
is
it's
pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you come to Japan, yeah, I
Yeah,
I recommend that.
It's fun.
Wasabi ice cream.
Actually, I saw in Indonesia ice cream with Indomie. Ever know about
I didn't know about that. Do you know?
Yeah, of course. No, I have everybody.
Yeah, you had every day.
Yeah, my
Okay.
group loves it. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Indomie ice cream. Wow.
Actually, I didn't know about that. Do you know of that?
Wow.
I saw in Instagram, man. Where really? I don't know.
Can't imagine having
Yeah.
with ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like from what I saw in Turkey, like recently, I think some of the restaurants they started to sell this Japanese pancake or something. Do you know about that, bro? Kanka?
Yeah. It's
Japanese pancake
also
like
exists in my city.
also like it is started to become famous. Like the big one, I think it's something like very fluffy. I haven't tried it, but I saw it in Instagram. Like they started to sell it in Ankara in Izmir. Did you
So
try it, bro?
actually, we can say it's common here, but maybe the common around the people, not common around the people. But it's exists, I can say, in Turkey.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to add, or maybe Osman, do you want to add something from their answers?
Hmm.
I will. Otherwise, I will be the one who think who say my opinion.
Maybe Kotaro has wants to share what do you think about Turkey, and maybe Osman and Abi can clarify
Yeah.
if or not.
Oh, bro, or yeah, it's also possible. Like I was thinking, maybe let me start like my turn to talk about Japan, like from what
Oh,
my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah, and then it's your turn, and then we will reverse again. So Kotaro and Osman about Indonesia. So actually, this is my opinion. Like Japan always famous for its manga. One of them, like those Indonesians who love manga, they love Japan. Like they really want to study in Japan. They really want to, work in Japan. Like stay in Japan. Yani. This is one thing, and also the second thing is like I mean, since I'm a civil engineering student, we know that Japanese people are very advanced in terms of earthquake resistant structure. Like they build a lot of innovations in those area because you guys have earthquake region, like you guys are in the earthquake region as far as I know, and you guys made a lot of contribution, a lot of innovation in that aspect. Other than that, like the hardworking ethic is in my mind all the time. Like when I think about Japanese people, actually I think I haven't met Japanese people before. Like I haven't talked to them directly. So this is my first time to talk with Japanese people with Kotaro actually. This is my first time actually. Like as far as I remember. And yeah, like this hardworking ethics, like they are very smart, they are very hardworking. Like it is always on my mind, like when I think about Japanese. And that's why I was shocked when like the university life was not that, stressful, was more calm, little bit like calmer. And also about the sakura, the trees. They are very famous, right? I guess, especially in the fall seasons. Yeah. And other than that, language are hard as far as I know. Like I didn't know how hard kanji is. Maybe Alfian can help me with kanji one day if I wonder about it. Like actually what I want to ask maybe is Japanese people are really that, this hardworking ethics. Like they are all punctual, they are all like working all the time. When we are talking about the working situation, by the way, like let's say you graduated from university and start to work, are they really that strict? Are they really that, like everyone's are focused on their work and everyone's are very serious, or everyone are very, I wonder I wonder about that actually. And other than that, yeah, that's all for me, I think, about Japan people.
Okay. So I think a lot of people do overestimate, like, or they do overrate the fact that Japanese people are like in this, like, Japan has like this like terrible working culture. I think that was true in like the 80s or the 90s, but ever since then there's been like a huge work reform on the government, and like they've been doing tons of initiatives to fix that. And I think nowadays it's like a lot better, but there are certainly like still companies called like black companies where they like make you overwork to the point that like some people like kill themselves, right? But like, yeah, it's definitely true that Japanese people in general, they place a big value on hardworking and being passionate about their job. So it's like a big part of their life. And I suppose like that connects to how people just focus on getting into good universities, because that's what usually gets you into companies like the university name, it's like famous enough. And what else was there?
What else do you ask? Sakura?
Now, actually, I wonder your opinion, Alfian, about this. What do you think? Like, as an Indonesian who is working in Japan, what do you think about, like, are they really that, like, that serious, let's say?
Okay. I agree with what Kotaro said. Maybe people all over the world a bit overestimated about the situation in Japan. Well, it's true that there are still some karoshi or karojisatsu, which meant like death because of overwork, or committing suicide because of overwork. But it's not that severe though. It's not that bad situation. Especially in the current years, it's improving significantly. And as for the are Japanese people really hardworking? As a foreigner, I would say yes. So, for example, in my company, even during the break time, my Japanese colleagues, they still kind of working on their jobs. Yeah, not because of our boss told them to do so, but because they just enjoyed working on the projects.
It's my passion. It's my passion. Don't bother me. I see. Okay. Okay. I get the answer. Now it's your turn, guys.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Okay.
So about Turkey.
Yes, about Turkey.